We are go for liftoff in T minus 30.
Hit the record button.
Gosh, that's swell.
It's a low blog talk radio.
There you go. Figured it out, huh?
Welcome to Italo's Black Talk Radio, and this is Italo or Victor. Italo Victor is the same person, by the way. And we already have our guest today, and you're coming from. Where are you coming from? I mean, never mind. Don't reveal
Planet
it.
Earth.
Planet Earth. There you go. So here's Robbie Cornelius, also the master of Self Mastery Radio, or the host of Self Mastery Radio, is on. I'm glad that we were able to connect because it's been kind of crazy since the last time we spoke.
Really? What's been going on?
Besides the elections and besides the turmoil of the country and besides being divided, a lot's going on, but in a good way also, because I was able to connect to more people now, and I'm very busy in the podcast world. I'm almost catching up to you, actually. I'm like, okay, Robbie's here. I'm almost there.
That's awesome. That's congratulations on making that happen.
Yeah. Sorry. I have a frog in my throat. Sorry. Yeah, I wanted to actually talk to you because actually I've been listening to your podcast. Sorry. And actually, I like that conversation you had with your friend. You call him your brother, but I don't know if he's your brother or not.
Is it Ben?
Ben, what's the last name?
Ben Williams. Benjamin
Yeah.
Williams.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was it, man. That was it.
Yeah, man. He's a very intelligent, deep individual. So every time I speak with him, it's an honor.
Yeah. Well, I've been listening to your podcast and other podcasts on my walks, and then that helps me, get motivated to keep walking and to keep going. And if there's another one, another 40 minutes, I'm like, okay, I can do it for another 40 minutes. Let's just keep walking, But listening to it, it's I don't know. I can listen to music anymore. Sometimes I'm like, I'm bored. I just want to listen to somebody talking to me in my ear. So
Yeah. I was having that conversation with my wife a few days ago. She was we were going out of town, and I was like, yeah, it feels weird to just dumb out on music when you can be learning something that's gonna improve your life. That's gonna take you to the next level, So when they're with me, they know they're going to get some kind of educational program as we travel.
you mean your whole family listens to the podcast?
Well, my whole family, if they're riding with me, they have to listen to a podcast because I'm not going to listen to any kind of music unless it's like classical music, or I listen to country music too. But like a lot of the things that are in mainstream society, I'm not listening to that stuff.
Yeah. Well, good.
Yeah, it's just I can't. I mean, it's when I listen to it, I hear the brainwashing in the music, if that makes sense. Not all of it, but a lot of it.
Yeah.
A lot of today's music a lot of music in general has a lot of brainwashing in it. I mean, if you get a rhythm or a rhyme looped in your mind. Oh my God. Yesterday, I was at a red light and I heard the lady in the vehicle next to me just blaring music. And it was like, the music was literally like, I'm so depressed. I'm feeling a mess. You know, it was just like, it was just like, I'm so depressed. I feel a mess over and over again. Not
Is
those.
that the song? Is that the anxiety song?
I don't know what it is. I just heard it from the car and I'm like, you know, she's
Isn't that
dressed in all black. She's got like the
the
really
Gothic?
black hair, the really black rings around her face and stuff like that. So I'm like, damn, like she is literally living the music right now.
Yeah.
Like the music literally puts a lens over your eyes and causes you to see the world in a certain way. So meanwhile, I'm in my vehicle looking at the world in a certain way. She's right beside me looking in the same direction, but her lenses are both of our lenses are colored differently.
Yeah.
And so it really brought to mind for me how society is shaped. We could both be looking at the same thing and perceive it in different ways based off of the information that's influencing our perception of the world.
Right. Well, there was a time where I was going through a period of time that I was going through depression and anxiety and all that. And I was telling this to somebody off the air, off the podcast. And so I was explaining to her how I was crying in the garden, right? And the person on the phone was telling me, focus on something, focus on anything, right? Because my mental state was not all there. It was altered, right? And I told her, I'm like, and all of a sudden I started focusing on the bougainvillea, the garden and the flowers. And I started seeing color. And at that moment I realized, I'm like, I just said that. I started seeing in color. Like the color started popping up in my brain because my brain was basically gray, black and white. But then I was made to focus on something, on one thing instead of just being in my brain. And I noticed that there was a shift, a little shift, not a big shift, but it was a shift. And I started seeing colorful, you know, like when you're walking out of Kansas and you end up in Oz.
Yeah.
And you see all this color and you're like, where the hell was I all this time? Where all this color was around me and I didn't see it, or I didn't choose to see it. You know what I mean? It was amazing. And
yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So it showed you, it opened your mind up to like, wow, like, here's the deal. I used to think that the world was just out there happening. I thought that the world was the way it was, you know, whatever was there for us is what was there for us. Until I started really diving deeper into the subject of the mind, you know, information like neuroscience, manipulation, perception, hypnosis, you know, all of the subjects of the mind. And I started to understand that, whoa, there's something bigger happening here. There's something bigger happening here that most people are not talking about. Most people are not thinking about. And I started doing my own deep dive and I discovered that I could, for the most part, I could control my personal reality. And this is something that I have to remind myself of more and more today. As you spoke about, we see what's going on in politics. We see what's going on with COVID. We see what's going on all around the world nonstop. We are being bombarded with information for better or worse. And sometimes you can get caught up in all of that. You can start worrying about things that you can't control. And then also you can become a bystander to the things that you can control. And so every single day, what I like to do is remind myself of what are the things that I can control. And when I realize that there are things I can control and can't control, immediately I start working on the things I can control. And what can I control? I can control my perception of myself. I can control my perception of the world around me. I can control the thoughts that I think. And if I can get control over the thoughts that I'm thinking, I can get control over the way I feel. And if I can get control over the way I feel, I can get control over the way I behave. So it's this process every single day of realizing, like, hold up, I have more control over the quality of my personal reality than I've been led to believe. Because if you look at the media, and even today, if you look at social media, it will leave you feeling like you're just helpless. So for me, it's been very powerful every single day to wake up every day and remind myself of my power. And I think a lot of people need to understand that. I was just on a live stream on TikTok just a second ago. I was watching this protest going on live. On live, it was just the weirdest thing. Total strangers are literally gathered in public, yelling back and forth with each other.
And I'm really surprised that they would allow this in TikTok because, as you know, they're censoring every single word to the word. You know what I'm saying? Like if you say one word, like I said the other day, I posted something about, I said the word nipple.
Yeah.
And they took my video down because I said nipple. I'm like, a nipple's a nipple, first of all. So I can only imagine what kind of words, what kind of strong words are being said in that protest, but they allow that.
Yeah. They were going at it in that protest.
Yeah. So they allow that. They allow the person that committed suicide, but they, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like,
yeah, I'm actually in the process of removing myself from any platform that engages in extreme censorship. Facebook is the first one. I was supposed to be off of there by yesterday.
Okay.
But I'm gonna finish the process over the weekend. I'm highly considering Instagram as well because it's dead. I mean, your organic reach on Instagram is almost virtually non-existent.
But what do you think about the people that are following you on Facebook or Instagram? You didn't want to go to TikTok.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. You know, in life, people die. You know, and this is equivalent to me passing away on a certain platform. So, you know, the people that are for you will find you.
Hey, that's true. I found you on TikTok.
There you go. Absolutely. I've only been back on Facebook for a year anyway.
Oh, that's right. You told me about that before. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, Facebook is not anything that I'm concerned about at all. It's better not to have it, in my opinion, than to have it. When you have to question the integrity of the individual that owns the company, and also there's no social media company in the world right now that has been in front of Congress more than Facebook. Why is that?
That's true.
Congress is also questioning the integrity of the platform. And that says a lot to me. I listened to an interview. Mark Zuckerberg was just interviewed in front of Congress a few days ago. He couldn't admit anything. You know, every single thing they asked him to commit to, he said, I would love to follow up with you on that. I can't answer that, not to my knowledge. No straight answers whatsoever. When you ask someone, let me see what happened to my microphone.
Yeah, something going on.
want to make sure my microphone is hold on.
Yeah. And I see the tiger behind you, like I see that tiger coming out of you right now.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Hold on. Can
It
you hear
sounds
me now?
I can hear you.
I can't hear you for some reason.
You cannot hear me. Oh shit.
There you go. I hear you.
Okay.
Okay, so when you ask a person a straight question and they can't give you a straight answer, usually there's only one reason. They don't want you to know. And the reason why they don't want you to know could be for good purposes or bad purposes. And so when I looked at the interview with Mark, understanding body language, understand how to push away from answering questions directly, I was like, man, this guy is up to something very sinister, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. I was going to say something, but I blacked out. Go ahead. Sorry, you had something else you want to say about.
Yeah. So my message right now to the world is it's time. We've given up so much of our freedom. You think about this. Let's just start with the internet. I have a software development company. So when you start with the internet, every time you download an app, you have to agree to their terms. 99.99% of people never read the terms of any app they download. They just hit, I accept these terms, and they start using the platform. And I get it. They make the terms so wordy.
Complicated to read, yeah.
That nobody has the time to read it or the desire to read it. We just want to use the app. But you never understand what you are agreeing to. And so in so many ways, you've given away your freedom on the internet. This is why some of these companies can get away with the acts the censorship that's taking place, because you agreed to that. You agreed to be censored. And the same is true in the physical world as well. We've been giving away our freedoms in the physical world. And so now what you have on a grand scale, if you connect the dots, you have the internet censoring you, telling you can't say certain things if it's not in harmony with the narrative that we're trying to push in the world. It used to be very simple on the internet. You just couldn't say things that, were influencing violence. You couldn't say things that were, derogatory and things of that nature. But now it's gone to a whole nother level. You can't have your own opinion about any of these sensitive topics, like your own health or politics or things of that nature, if it's not in harmony with the narrative that's being pushed. And then now in the physical world, so you're being censored on social. It's either post happy photos of your baby and the food and be half naked. If you talk about something serious, we're going to look into that. In the physical world, muzzle your mouth with the mask on, stay in your house. You can't go to work. You can't go to church. You can't stand within 6 feet of most people. And in some cities, people are being asked to wear masks inside of their own homes. Look at all of the dots that are being connected, right? And so when I look at that, I say, there's a few ways you can go about it. One of the ways that most people are out here doing is they're going out marching and protesting and yelling back and forth at each other, screaming. You have people that are putting out content. You have so many different people doing different measures to voice their opinion about what's going on. But one of my things has always been control what I can control. I'm going to control myself, and I free the world. And so I work on my mindset on a daily basis. I work on my actions on a daily basis, my emotions on a daily basis. And I'm putting out information that I feel like is going to cause people to, or inspire people to think about themselves and their life a little differently. And when I put the information out there, more and more people are opening their mind to the question of, why am I letting somebody else dictate my life? Whose life am I living? Whose life am I living? Because so many people have been living other people's lives for a very long time now. It started when we, you can stop me at any time, but it started when we were kids. You know, kids want to naturally make their parents proud. Then you want to make your neighbors proud. Then you're trying to impress the girl or the guy. And then you're trying to impress your boss at work. And then you got God you got to impress as well. You also got your teachers you got to impress, your preacher, you got your coach, you got all these people that you're trying to appeal to, that sometimes people ended up living everybody else's life, and they didn't even know what their own life was supposed to be about, because they spent their life trying to figure out who their parents wanted them to be, who their neighbors wanted them to be. Neighbors are the least on the list, but who their, pastor wanted them to be.
Teachers, their
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so it created this generation of people who were deeply looking for acceptance. And because we've been deeply looking for acceptance in the external world, it's created a world filled with people who are deeply insecure in many ways. And what you see manifesting in the external world, in my opinion, is a reflection of that disconnection that a lot of people have with themselves. I mean, it boggles my mind now. I heard that suicide rates went up during COVID.
I'm sure.
People, drinking problems, drugs. People were some people passing away because they were just flat out lonely.
I think there's a pandemic of the spirit right now, a virus on the spirit. Or I see so many people in the live TikTok lives or in the platforms, and they're reaching out for help to the point where I had to do this with somebody I never met, of course, somebody in TikTok, and I'm like, I need to talk to this person right now.
Yeah,
because I could hear in her voice, I'm like, something's happening there, and the way that she ended the phone call. It's another podcast, by the way, a lot like live on TikTok. They have this thing where they call this person. He's a really good one too. Joe A. Tang is pretty good. He calls people out. He hears their stories. He says, what's the word of the day?
Oh yeah, I think I know. I think I know him. Is he
He's
the guy that has the high?
Yes, I don't have the high, but
I like his content.
No, he's amazing, and what he's doing is he's connecting people that need inspirational. Something inspirational to wake up to. And I do, as everybody does. But there was this one phone call that really scared me to hear the story of that lady, and her word of the day was fight. And so I thought that was interesting, because I would have thought other things, but I'm like, no, she's a fighter. And so that attitude, and she did not sound like a fighter to me on the phone. But I understood what she meant. Like, I want to be able to fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, fight depression or fight this self persona that I have in front of that, it was just, and just by that one phone call that I did, I think it helped me too, because it everybody's going through something. So I think if you recognize that and you reach out, that's all you got to do. Sometimes it's just reaching out to somebody, and I may never know that person in real life. You know what
That's
I'm saying?
right.
And I think
Absolutely.
you are doing the same thing because you're reaching out with to people that are trying to make sense of the social media, of the election, of the whole pandemic thing, and the pandemic
Yeah.
called. I gotta turn to you sometimes. I'm like, I need some reality check here.
Yeah, when symbolically we've been, like I said, we've been giving up so much of our freedom for generations now for something that's external from us. And I feel like it's finally started to manifest. So what I've been trying to do for me, like I have my family here, so maybe I'm being disconnected from reality, okay? Because I have my family here, but I have a hard time understanding how do people feel alone. And the reason why I say that is because although my family is here, probably the vast majority of the time I'm by myself. And I never feel lonely. I never feel like I'm missing anything. And so what I've been trying to do is share information that causes people to recognize that at the end of the day, you have everything you need to be or to feel the way you want, outside of physical ailments, of course. But as far as, for instance, here's the deal. I was speaking with my mother a few days ago, yesterday, in fact, and we were talking about somebody that is kind of going down the wrong path that we both know. And I told my mother, I said, I know what's happening. This person was walking a very positive path. But what happens is when you start walking a positive path, the people that knew you before you started walking that positive path, they start to disassociate themselves from you. And all of a sudden, you turn around and you realize you're on this path by yourself. You turn around, there's nobody there. And what happens for a lot of people, because they don't like being by themselves, they don't like feeling lonely, they'll turn around and go and pick the same people up that abandoned them or that they abandoned just so they can have company. Mm. Because people are deeply afraid of being alone. Mm. And it's one of the fears I've never really understood, because I operate as a loner every single day, not in a depressing sense, but in a sense of independence. Mm. For the most part, I operate as an individual that seeks his own counsel. So what I've been trying to do is share information with people that will cause them to feel powerful on the inside. It is cool to be around people. And I look at this pandemic as two ways. The reason why I'm saying this is because I can see things in a world of duality. On the one hand, 1 second, I'm sorry.
We got 5 minutes left, but I want to ask you a question before you dive into that.
Okay.
Don't lose that train of thought. Do you want to do a part 2 and then we can dive into that?
Yeah, because let's do it.
Otherwise, you're gonna be halfway through and
yeah, let's do it. Okay. Down. So to say that it's all doom and gloom is a miscalculation of perception, in my opinion. So although it's easier to focus on the doom and gloom for a lot of people, we have to sometimes consciously cause ourselves to look at the positive possibilities. So I'm looking at it like this. Either we're trying to be maybe we're being deeply controlled. Maybe we're being deeply subjected to a world where we don't have any freedoms. And on the flip side, maybe a lot of these measures are being put into place because there is a real threat that a lot of our population don't understand. And those that are studying this stuff on a daily basis do understand it. And this is why these rules and regulations are being put into place. So maybe one or two. But from my experience, like they say, the truth usually lies in the middle. It's probably a combination of all of those factors, a mixture. You got people who are deeply concerned, and then you probably have individuals that are looking to game the system and use this as an opportunity to control. So at the end of the day, we have to always realize that these people that make up these laws are humans just like we are. We're adults here, and at the end of the day, nobody can't make you do anything you don't want to do. And you can, there are consequences to the things you choose to do or not do, of course. But at the end of the day, unless they hold you down and literally force you to do something you don't want to do, we can all choose to say, hell no, I'm not doing that. And
right. Well, and then there's the thing that really, and by the way, I wrote this so you remember.
That's awesome.
It means help inspire. It doesn't mean hi, just so you know.
I like that.
Crash course, help inspire.
No,
really, really cool podcast. But we're really, okay. So the whole thing, right, with the pandemic and everything, at the beginning in March, probably, or around March, it wasn't affecting me much. I was sick actually in March of this year. So I think I already had the virus. I was picking up people from the airport and driving them around. So, and they were coming from in Asia, and they were coming from wherever, right? So in a sense, I probably was already infected. Who knows, right? Because I never got tested, by the way. Now, with everything that went on and everything that's happening, and elections happen and everything that's, some things that are out of my control don't affect me, right? Like who's winning on the election. I have no control over that. Nobody has no control over that. But there are some things that are affecting me on a personal level. Like I cannot see my grandmother in the home. I cannot gather with my family next week unless it's less than 10 people. I cannot go out without a mask. Sometimes I forget my mask behind. And then one day I was like, fuck it. If you don't like it, you can just step away, like what? So in a way, it is affecting me because I'm like, why am I buying into this crap?
Yeah.
Why am I concerned about, 6 feet? When there's people in Walmart that are 2 feet apart, how is that different than being with my family? It just doesn't make sense to me. And I just get so upset right now because anytime I see the news, anytime I see the numbers here, the numbers here, I'm like, I get so tired.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. Like I said, at the end of the day, if enough people start, the scary part is it's not the rules that are being put into place that are the scary part. The scary part is the people who just blindly go along with things. They're the ones that are going to be policing you. They're the ones that are going to be shaming you on the internet. Everybody is laced up with one of these things on their phones, one of these cameras.
Yeah.
And it's nothing for somebody to see you outside without your mask on and to look at this guy, you know, he doesn't have his mask on. We live in a world of Karens right now. Karens and Phillips. You know, people who want to deeply shame you for having a different perspective on things. This is a dangerous time to be alive, and if you are a free thinker, someone that thinks independently of whatever is going on, and because not from a physical standpoint, but from a psychological standpoint, public opinion. Right now, you have half and half. You have people who are just willing to comply, and then you got another half of the population that are like, "I'm not complying."
And there's some people in the middle because,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Like you were saying earlier, some things you have to look in the middle because there's truth on everything.
Absolutely,
you can't really be blinded by okay, there is a virus. It's just not. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, absolutely. And that's where I reside on most things. I'm a middle guy. I'm not far this way or far that way. If you want to go from a political term, I'm not far left or far right. I'm in the middle because I try to look at things from different perspectives. On one hand, if this thing I haven't seen anybody fall out and die in front of me yet. But also, I'm not in front of any. I'm not around a lot of people either. You know, I'm home 90% of the time, 99% of the time, probably. But it's interesting. So I like to think about what we can do. You know, first of all, you know, there are consequences, but you can resist. You can resist, and me, depending on what somebody's trying to get me to do. Maybe I'll comply, maybe I'll resist. Depends. But that's an option. Another thing, this is painful as well, but I can move to a place that's a little bit more free. I don't want to, but I can. That's an option. Number three, excuse me. Number three, I can choose the way I'm looking at things. I can look at it in a negative way. I can look at it in a positive way. I can be completely neutral. So that's the third thing. Number four, I can alter the way I feel about what I'm looking at. And all of those are powerful choices. We might not like them. We might not like any of them. I don't want to move. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to resist. I don't want to have to control my mind. I don't want to have to control my emotions, you know, but those are options. And so those are options that I'm always reminded of on a consistent basis. You know, two of them I'm doing anyway. I'm working on my mind and my emotions every single day. I've been doing that since 2010. The second two, I just exercised this one, you know, the ability to move. You know, the place I'm in now, I've only been here for a year. For me, it represented a lot more freedom. But we're not attached to anything. You know, we can pick up and move today if we wanted to. Mm-hmm. It would be painful, but it's nothing. Hey, boom, call some trucks, call some movers, go pay for another place, and voila, you set up in a whole nother place.
Or you can go minimalistic. Like some people are just getting rid of everything. Like there's Grand Punch is his name on TikTok. His wife died. His father died. He's, you know, live up on his own. And he says, you know what, Victor, one day I will decide to sell everything and just get on my bike and just ride. And that was like so powerful. I'm like, yes, you do that. Because anyways, there's a long story about that. But it's just a mental state.
Whatever you want for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you want for yourself. If I don't want to be in an environment where people are forcing me to wear a mask, then I just go out into the mountains. Ain't nobody gonna mess with me in the mountains.
They might. They might send a drone to follow you around. Let's follow Robbie. to the
It
mountain.
could. That's a possibility too.
You've
But you
seen
know,
too many movies.
there's always a way. There's always a choice you have. Even if you were captured by, let's say somebody captured you and held you in a dungeon. You know what you might be like, well, Robbie, what's my option then? All right. Well, you still got control over those two things: your perception and the way you feel about what you're looking at.
Mm.
And then you always have the other one, the mobility. You could always die. You know what I'm saying? You could always escape. I mean, there's always an option. And so I think what freaks people out is when they feel like they don't have an option. They don't have any choices, but we do have choices. Often the choices are there that we just don't want to make. My wife will tell you I'm very quick at making decisions. If I want to do something, I just do it. I don't think too much into it. We're just going to do it. When I walk into a store, 5 seconds, I know exactly what I'm coming in for. I know within 5 seconds of walking into a store if I'm going to pick up something or not, because I make decisions very fast. And I just think that a lot of people are just paranoid because they haven't decided how are you going to deal with this thing? Are you going to resist? Are you going to comply? Are you going to move? Are you going to stay? I mean, that's the thing. We have those options.
And then we always believe that it's greener on the other side, right? We always believe that, oh, Canada, or, oh, yeah, let's go to Mexico, or let's get away from the U.S. and let's go to China. Let's go to, you don't know if it's better. You don't know if it's better.
Yeah.
If your mindset is the same and you move, it's going to be worse. Imagine having to learn a new language if it's like, you're
absolutely
France or whatever, or Peru, or if you want to go to Puerto Rico. If you're not making it here, you won't make it anywhere, like they say. It's like,
that's exactly right.
Yeah,
you're right. But I want to see. Things are unfolding as we speak, and it's only a matter of time before people comply by the masses or people resist by the masses. And it's just a matter of time, man. It's not even a if, it's a when. But I don't think things are just going to magically go back to normal if we're relying on an external source to tell us that everything is normal again. Freedom isn't given, it's taken. And so you got to understand, like, if you want to be free, you got to take it. You got to take it, and you got to ask for permission later.
You got to fight for it, yeah.
Ask for forgiveness later. Don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness. I've already took it.
Yeah.
And so in our personal lives, I think a lot of people believe that they have to gather in large groups and go, that's not how I roll. This year was the first time I went to a rally. I went to.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did.
I went to a few Trump rallies, and I went out and showed my support. But I'm one of those guys to where I do more damage or good when I'm alone. When you got so many people around you, that's too many people.
Yeah.
That's too many people, in my opinion. I like to operate solo. Now I know what my vision is. Okay, all right, guys, peace.
Right.
And I go make it happen.
Well,
and so that's what
you're making more damage. You're making more damage in TikTok, and you're making more damage in your podcast, and you're making more damage in Instagram. Even if they're censoring you, you're making more damage because I hear you.
Exactly.
And it's not just me who's like following you. There's a lot of people. You have 100,000 people following you, right? Am I right?
Yeah, another 100,000 on TikTok, and another 100,000 have been listening to me on the podcast for years. And then, so it's a lot of people. But my thing is, like, let me try to clean up. When I say do damage, what I mean by that is let me clean up around my own doorstep before I tell my neighbors they need to clean up around theirs.
Yeah.
Let me make sure all my affairs are in order before I go and try to save the world. Let me go and make sure that my family is taken care of before I try to go out and help everybody else in their family.
Yeah.
And I feel like if we all did that inside of our personal homes, if we all took care of what was real for us, then we wouldn't have to go out in mobs and burn cities down and protest and riot. It's a lack of accountability, in my opinion, when you do that. So I'm just more of a reserved person. I like moving in silence. I don't like everybody in my business. And I'm all about inspiring people with powerful information. And when I say powerful information, it's information to let people know they have a choice. You got to be wary of individuals that are putting information out there that insinuates that you don't have a choice, that you don't have any power. And that's what so much of the mainstream media does today. Symbolically, they're letting you know you don't have any power. And I think that's what agitates people, because deep down inside, we know that we're powerful. We might not consciously recognize it, but deep down inside, we know we're powerful. We know we're supposed to be free. And when we hear information, us free thinkers is what I say, when we hear information that contradicts that deep down understanding that we are free and we're powerful, we get agitated by that.
Yeah.
Now,
it's like a dog whistle to me.
Yeah.
It's like a dog whistle. Like I can hear it. You can hear it. I can hear it.
Absolutely.
Did you just hear what he said?
Absolutely. And like I said, I know what I'm looking at the world, and I'm like, I hear the whistle. There's two whistles playing right now, but I'm focusing on the frequency in the middle. I hear this radical left. I hear this radical right. I'm in the sweet spot. I'm seeing what both parties, I'm seeing what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
And so that's where you want to be at, in my humble opinion. You move in silence. You ask for forgiveness. You take action first and ask for forgiveness last. That's how I roll.
Besides, you're coming from a place of love, as they say, place of love. You're not there to.
Absolutely.
You're not here to cause any commotion or chaos, or there are some people that are doing it, but
they are. You're not going to. If I go out right now, and let's say if I go out right now and I get into a fight with, someone that has an opposing view of the world than I do, and even if I beat that person up, what is that going to solve?
Right.
If I go out and burn down a building of an organization that I don't agree with, what is that going to solve? You don't win that way.
Yeah.
You win by using this, and you win by using this. Self-control, that's why my message is self-mastery. Master yourself. Don't try to master the world. Master you. Become the best of you that you can be. This is where all your power resides. People don't realize it, though. They're like, it's the weirdest thing to me. I used to live like that, too, though, so I get it.
Yeah, well, in 2019, I was a completely different person. I was not thinking the way I'm thinking today. And somebody had to be like, look at this. But you know what I mean? Like, and I was still judgmental. I was still, cognitive dissonance is what it's called.
Yeah.
And when he taught me that, I was like, wait, okay, play that again. Because, at the point I was like, that kind of resonates, and so I had to do and I'm still doing my work. I'm not totally there. So, you know what I mean? I still have to meditate. I still have to write my story, and I still have to do X, Y, and Z that I wasn't doing that last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
I know exactly what you mean. Like I meditate every single day. I do my command my brain technique every single day. It's a practice. It's like going to the gym. You know, you'll never get to a point to where you go to the gym and one day you're like, okay, I got all the muscles I'll ever need. I don't need to come to the gym anymore.
That'd be great.
If you don't go to the gym, over time you're gonna lose that body. Well, that's the same way your mind is. If you don't meditate every single day and you keep skipping days, you're going to lose that state of consciousness that you're in. It's not about hitting this level of consciousness and then being like, okay, I think this is where I want to reside. This is it. I don't have to meditate anymore. Everything in life, we have to do it repetitiously if we want to become good at it, if we want to become better at it, if we want to keep that thing present in our lives. What's the old saying? If you don't use it, you lose it.
You lose it. Right.
Everything is like that. Okay, here's a prime example. You have clothing and items from your past that you stopped using. And if you thought about it today, you'll be like, what happened to that shirt I used to have?
Right.
You lost it because you no longer used it.
It's in storage.
Huh?
It's in storage.
Even in storage, if you don't continue to use the storage or pay on the storage, what happens? You end up losing it. They're going to sell your stuff. You know, so yeah. Life is a steady stream. We have to pour into the things that we care about. Let's pour into our families. Let's pour into ourselves. Let's pour into our craft. Let's pour into educating ourselves. Let's pour into who we want to be. Because if we don't, we're going to lose ourselves. And this is what I feel like society has done. You think about this, Victor. We come from a society. See, I'm not too torn up about all the stuff that's going on right now. And I'm going to tell you why. On one side of me, I am. Another side of me, I'm not. And like I tell you, I reside right in the middle. Before all of this, our society, and we're still distracted, but our society was really, really distracted. You know, we distracted ourselves with so many things. We distracted ourselves with work tremendously. Most people spent 75% of their time at work, outside of the home that they were paying for, outside of the vehicles they were paying for. Most people distracted themselves with food, with alcohol, with sports, with so many different things, to the point to where we lost ourselves. And now people are like, I want my freedom back. You know, some people are like, I want my freedom back, but it's like we gave it up when we gave up our time by being distracted with these things that are not important. Now, on the flip side, people will say that social media is ruining society, or that our cell phones are ruining society. I don't agree with that. I feel like, see, I'm old enough to remember a time before these devices existed, before the internet existed. And I remember saying to myself when I was a kid, I don't want to talk to any of these people that I'm around. I don't want to talk to any of my neighbors. I don't want to talk to any of the kids in my school.
Actually, they had pen pals. If you remember that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Pen pals. I'm like, I wish I could meet people in another place, on another side of the world that I've never been to before.
And I have.
And now we
Australia
can.
yesterday.
So don't get mad at me when I'm sitting here looking at my phone, because I get to tap into any world I want to tap into. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it can be bad, just like anything. But sure. I think these are the most brilliant devices in the world. I can tap. I met you on here. I've met so many other people by using our phones, by using technology. So a lot of people are. What bothers me, this is what's so ironic, right? You'll have these guys that are like demonizing technology on a YouTube video. Like you're using technology to demonize technology. Like, do you understand that if you didn't have this technology to record this message, you would be talking to the few people who were in the same room as you?
It's like they say, isn't it ironic? Don't you think?
Yeah, it's ironic. So I'm pro technology. I'm even pro. I know a lot of people are going to think this is weird, but I'm pro AI. There's going to be good uses for AI. There's going to be bad uses for AI. It's duality. We'll never have just bad or just good. It's going to be a combination of both.
Yeah, because we're both, we have our good and our evil side.
Absolutely. And I've been meditating on this a lot. And I've also been doing a lot of research. I've been looking at mental illness a lot. I think there's a lot of that being shown in the world right now. Mental illness, mental dis-ease, which is simply a mind that is not at ease, a mind that is disturbed. And so I think there's a lot of that going on right now. Yeah. And in this world right now, I believe one of the best things you can do is to learn how to ease your mind. Ease your mind. Man, a mind at ease today is priceless. And so what I'm doing is I'm control. Listen, we're moving into a new world, Victor. This is where I get excited about everything. We're moving into this new world where every person is going to be able to tailor their reality to the world they want to see when they look out of their eyes. It's going to be very strange, but we live in a catered world. And here's what I mean by that. Here's just a small example. I had a client came into town, and I invited him to my home office, and he looked around. He says, man, he's like, this is a beautiful place. And I said, okay, thank you. And he says, a few minutes later, he's like, you have designed this place in every inch to match who you are. And when he said that, I said, damn, I have. And it made me super aware that in this world that we're moving towards, we're going to have the ability to literally create the world we want to see in our personal reality. We all going to still have reality, but I'm talking about our personal reality. When I think about that, I get so excited about it. Because I'm already living that. I'm already living it in so many ways, but I know technology is going to help us experience it even more. And sure, the people that don't want to really associate with you, they're going to disconnect from you. They're not going to call you if they don't want to. They're not going to text you if they don't want to. And so you're going to have to understand, you're going to have to know how to be happy alone in so many cases. Or, and here's what I say, because when you're happy alone, you build self-confidence. And ironically, when you are happy alone, it makes you more attractive to the people outside of you. They're like, damn, who is that? I want to get.
You're attracting, I feel that too, because I'm attracting positivity right back.
Absolutely.
When I enter TikTok or I entered Facebook, I was bombarded by all this negativity, and sure, I can look into that, but they have molded my algorithm to be like, no, he doesn't stay there too long. He likes this positive person. He likes that other positive person.
Yep.
So that's AI, right?
Yep. So, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
They're there to just keep you there. So if you tell their algorithm you like
cats.
Food, cats, they're gonna show you nothing but a timeline of cats.
Exactly.
They want to keep you there. Prime example, there was a guy speaking a few days ago. He said, when you don't know what the product is, you are the product. And so these social media platforms, they're only designed to keep you tuned in.
Yeah. Somebody
Good or
said to me,
bad.
like, you know what, Victor, if we collectively decided not to log on one day, collectively, no social media whatsoever, one day, right? You think what would you think is going to happen to them? Their market is going to crash. They're going to be, they're going to be like, what? Let's just push. Okay, let's push this one video. Let's just give them
Absolutely.
a million viewers. They're going to be
Absolutely.
up. Yeah, it's going to be, hey, that's a good idea. Just do one day where nobody logs on.
Right.
We can do it and I'm doing it too. Like you're saying, it's a personal choice where I think I'm gonna delete the app just so I don't have the temptation.
Absolutely.
See what happens.
You can create the world you want. If you turn off social media, COVID goes away. You don't really, and this sounds weird. I'm not saying COVID disappears from the planet.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is you're no longer bombarded with that negativity all day long.
Yeah.
You're no longer bombarded with politics all day long. Politics is one of the most negative industries in the world, outside of hip hop. It's politics and there's hip hop. Both of those can cause you to lose your life.
Okay.
If you get
That's
out
controversial.
of line. It's very controversial.
You were a hip hop artist. Weren't you a hip hop artist?
Huh?
Weren't you in that world before?
Yeah, I used to rap.
Yeah.
It's it's in both of those industries are the fakest industries on the planet. Politics is fake and hip hop is fake. Yeah, the music.
Maybe the music industry in general.
Yeah, full of fake people. Fake people in both industries. People who will lie to your face just to get what they want. People who will
Hollywood
and tell you a lie straight to your face like this. And won't blink at all. So if you disconnect from all that, 75% of your worries go away.
That's true.
But also you can use the same things to escape to another world. So it's like I'm just letting people know the options. Like you have an option. You can check out, or you can tap in, or you can tune in.
Say that again.
You can check out, you can check in, or you can tune in. And I like to do a combination of all three because, like I always told you, I ride the middle. I ride in the middle lane. So I like to tune into myself. I like to check into social media. And I also like to check out from social media and, the media at large, the world at large. So I do a combination of all three. I think, in 2012, I'll say from 2000 and like something crazy, like 2011 to 2012, I checked out from social media 100%, checked out from the world 100%, no radio, no TV, nothing.
Wow.
And when I got to, I did that for a year. And I was very peaceful on the inside. But there's only so much of that you can do. There's only so much checking out you can do, living off the grid you can do, in my opinion. And so one day I was thinking to myself, what would it be like to insert myself back into society without inserting myself back into society? And I said, oh, shoot, I need to become an entrepreneur. And I need to figure out how I can work on the internet, because if I can work on the internet, I don't have to engage in society in the traditional way, but I can still be a part of society, still be to myself, but I can still be involved. And so, like I said, I'm a middleman. I'm not a radical at all.
Well, hey, You're the master of yourself. As always, I look up to people like you. You know, like, and I'm not saying you are perfection, and you're, I pick up what I want from you, from anybody, and I make my own decisions. So
Absolutely.
nobody's perfect, and but the time has come that I have to say goodbye for now, and I do want to thank you because I love talking to you every time.
Love talking to you too, Victor. And I look up to you as well. I'm very impressed by your consistency with your podcast and just the way that you conduct yourself. I think is very professional. And I appreciate our relationship.
Thank you, man. I kind of wiped it off, but it still says help inspire.
Mine says blank.
Right. Make up your own letters.
Canvas. Just paint something on it.
Love that. Okay. Well, you didn't see this coming, guys. I'll be having more episodes, but you have to subscribe to my YouTube channel because I won't be posting them. I will be posting them on YouTube first. So if you want to see Rob, like right now, I'm talking to Rob. He'll be on tonight, but on TikTok or on social media, he won't be until next week. I have a lot of people that are lining up. So if you want to keep up with me, if you want to keep up with Rob, you got to follow our channels. So that's all I have to say about that.
Much love, Victor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.